Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you guys know, I recently reached Paragon 700 this week, and whenever I reach one of these new difficulty levels, what I usually like to do is equip all of my new Inferno gear, and once I've done that, I always like to hop into challenge rifts and see the highest challenge rift level that I can clear. And as you guys know, I mentioned that I tried my hand at the highest challenge rift level, which is currently challenge rift 400, and I wasn't able to do so, and I cleared challenge rift level 395 with ease. And over the past few days, I've been trying to push myself even more and clear even higher, and I cleared Challenger of 397 in 9 minutes and 43 seconds, and unfortunately for Challenger 400 it's just out of reach for me because I'm almost 700 combat rating under, and I'm not really able to do much at all there or any kind of damage there. But luckily for me, I did have one of my friends volunteer to actually try to attempt a two-man rift with me, and honestly, even though he is a higher resonance, I think he's got about 10.7k resonance, I want to say. I will be showing his profile at the end. This still was a huge challenge because like I said, I wasn't really doing much damage at all, and basically I had to play more of a support role here. And to make things worse, he was playing as a Crusader, which Crusader is notoriously one of the worst classes for challenge rifts. At least in the past it was, and maybe now not so much, but still I would say that Crusader is kind of outclassed by a lot of other builds. But as you can see here, what I want to do is jump right in and show you guys the best attempt that we had at Challenger 400. So this is after about, I want to say, 4 to 5 hours of trying to push. We split this over kind of 2-3 days trying to push this because unfortunately my friend had a lot of work obligations this week and wasn't able to do that much. But I did help him to reach Paragon 700, so he kind of offered and was nice enough to try to do a couple of attempts with me here. So shout out to LordMichwa. I want to thank you so much for having the patience to run with me. You guys will be able to see how this rift goes. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but yeah, this was a really fun experience, and I definitely recommend you guys to try pushing challenge rifts in a group because it's just so much fun, even though there is some lag. So as you can see here, we've started the rift off really strong. We have had 2 blue elites here, and this is one of my favorite mob type, which is the Abomination Demon mob type. And from our Reforges, we both have demon damage Reforges on, so this is kind of a dream rift here. So we've just moved forward here, and we've actually found another 2 elites, I believe, or maybe even 3 blue elites here. But just to confirm with you guys, I didn't click it in this rift here, but you'll be able to see on the screen now. I've put my combat rating, so you can see that I have 46,982 combat rating, so I'm currently 647 combat rating under. As far as my friend goes, I will be showing his combat rating at the end, but he has 47,530 combat rating, which is still 99 points under the requirement for Challenger 400. So the requirement for Challenger 400 is 47,629, which is an insane amount of combat rating. So right now I'm just telling my friend that there's 1 blue elite left behind. So if you take a look at the minimap, there's 1 more blue elite down here, and I was worried that he was going to pull the group up there, so I just decided to tell him there in the chat that basically there's 1 more, and for him to just come back and pull the mobs here. You'll kind of notice that I'm playing a very strange build, and I will be going over the build that I'm using, but this was actually a very impressive build, and I was very happy that I actually came up with this one, because this was probably the only build that I could really survive and also do a huge amount of CC. As you can see, the mobs are jumping around all the time here, and I'm able to kind of help my friend as much as possible. I would say that for the damage breakdown, he was probably doing something like 90% of the total damage, and I was only doing about 10% if I had to guess. But it's kind of rough to know exactly how it is because of the damage penalty. But as you can see here, I've died here once again, but once I'm up, I'm able to kind of stun the mobs, which basically allows my friend to kind of get up close to them and actually use his primary attack a lot more. But most of the time when I'm dead, he's just running around. Even though it isn't that fast, he's still able to dodge pretty well because he has a lot of experience with these mobs. But when I'm able to be alive, I'm able to CC the mobs non-stop, and he just goes in and primary attacks them. We're just killing off the last elite mob here. You can see that we have a huge amount of time left for this rift, and I hope that we get a good boss here. And we were lucky enough to get one of the best bosses in the game, so I moved away here to try equip my boss variation of the build, which I'm going to go over. But unfortunately the boss came and killed me, so I just decided to resurrect checkpoint here and actually switch the build, because I think it was the correct choice for me to do this, because this build does a lot more buffs to my friend, and he's able to do a lot more damage. We tested this on the dummy multiple times, so I'd always recommend you guys to try doing runs on the dummy and figure out how much damage you can buff your friends by, because the numbers can be insane. So here, now as you can see, my vortex has changed. Now it's more of the vanilla vortex effect, and I don't have this knock-up effect, but it doesn't matter because the boss is actually immune to the knockback effect. And this boss in particular, because he doesn't spawn any ads really, apart from in the final phase, and the ads aren't really that dangerous, I did want to go for this effect here just so I could give my friend more damage buffs. Unfortunately, my friend has died here, and he has told me that he doesn't like to get resurrected, because when I do resurrect him, he resurrects with about 5% health, and he usually likes to resurrect with full health. So that's why I was kind of holding off from resurrecting him there. But as you can see here, the only dangerous attack of this Agonicus boss is the attack that he just shoots the kind of balls into the sky, and that's the only real attack that can one-shot you. So here, I'm just telling my friend that he can tell me if he wants to res me. I'm not going to bother resing him. But the other thing is that we actually might be able to resurrect checkpoint here, because the boss is so close to the entrance. So here, I could have probably pressed resurrect checkpoint. I did tell my friend to actually try to move the boss closer to the entrance here, so you can see that he's actually going to start doing that momentarily, but he's just trying to be really careful to dodge these. So now he's moving away to actually move the boss closer to the entrance, and I'm going to hopefully get the res here. So I'm just going to res normally here, but now this allows us to actually start using the resurrect checkpoint, and I believe that we can do this 2 times before it gets grayed out. So that's another extra tactic that we used. This boss had 1.2 billion health, so even though we had about 70% of the time remaining, this still wasn't a clear and easy victory. I told my friend here that you can do the checkpoint revive, and he just did it there, and he was so excited to come back into the fight and try to do as much damage as possible that he just ran in without looking at the kind of ball effect here. But you can see that now he's taking his time, he's being a bit more cautious, and he's taking his time to just pick the right moment to come in. So here you go, you can see that we're both kind of dodging his attacks now and playing a lot more cautiously, because we can see that we've wasted a lot of time here, and the boss still has 800 million health remaining. So unfortunately, my friend just about died here. You have to be a bit careful with these attack that the boss does, because sometimes it's really hard to see the visual effect on the ground, and it also does have a bit of an after effect. So even if it looks like it's disappeared, it sometimes lingers for another half a second to a second longer. So now my friend just used another resurrect to checkpoint, and I believe he's out of resurrects to checkpoint now. So we're just going to play really cautiously. Boss is down to about 680 health there. And yeah, unfortunately my friend died once again. I think that the pressure's getting to him, because he was playing really, really well for like pretty much all the rift, and then now when he sees the boss is low health, he's kind of having a bit more pressure. But the funny thing is that we had another rift yesterday where we were really close, and I kind of ended up choking on that boss there. So that's kind of the funny thing, is that we're both kind of not immune to the pressure, and when we're really close to a clear like this, the pressure is kind of building up. So now my friend has told me that if he dies again, I should actually resurrect him, because now he doesn't have any more resurrect checkpoint, and his resurrect timer is 20 seconds. So that's what I'm going to be doing going forward if he does die again. You can see that the boss is now in the final phase. So in this final phase, he actually gets easier, because he doesn't do his attack where he shoots the balls into the sky, which is going to one-shot you. Now he just does more of a standard attack pattern, and he does spawn some ads, but the ads don't really do any damage, and we already pretty much killed them. So at this point, I'm starting to think that we have a really good shot of killing this boss, but the timer is kind of running out here, and the boss still has another 380 million. You can see that my friend is starting to play a lot more aggressively, and he's kind of trying to hit the boss with as many primary attacks as possible. Crusader isn't really a class that is kind of focused on primary attack, at least not when you're playing without the Holy Banner. So my friend is focused more on a Consecration and also Condemn build. So it isn't really the most build that's going to benefit from primary attacks, but regardless, it's still doing a lot more damage while hitting also with the primary attacks. So we're just trying to get off the last 200 million here, and the time is really running out. We're both started really focusing and kind of leaning in on our gaming chairs, as you can see, sweating, you know, just the whole thing. And yeah, let's just see how this goes for the final couple of seconds. I'm just gonna shut up here and let's just see what happens. So there, unfortunately, my friend just about died. That's really unfortunate. Boss has about 20 million health left. I think if I die here, I'm going to be down to a 30-second cooldown. So this was really tense here, trying to get the resurrect on my friend, but I just about managed to get it off. And he came on and he just completely demolished the boss for the last couple of health here. And I was extremely happy. This was one of the best moments I've had recently in this game. And I was just so happy. And my friend was also kind of going wild. And yeah, we were both just so happy that the pressure was finally over. I looked at the world chat and we can see the message, Mao and LordMichwa. We got the challenge rift first clear, so I was extremely happy about this. So let's take a look at the leaderboard now. You can see that we cleared this in 9 minutes 40 seconds, so we had less than 20 seconds remaining. Something I want to mention is that there is a portrait frame that we were supposed to get for completing this. Unfortunately, neither of us got the portrait frame, so I believe that this is a bug. Even though it is a limited time portrait frame, I would have liked to have it, and I did report that bug in the partner program. But now let's take a look at my friend's stats. So you can see that he's completely under in terms of the secondary stats. So for the secondary stats, it's 8.3 armor, 8.3 armor pen that's required, and 8k potency, 8k resistance, which he doesn't have. I'm quickly going to mouse over his gear. I'm not going to be talking too much about his build here. He's gone for full combat rating on his set items, and then the standard condemn with judgment and also with consecration build here. For the Reforges, this is something crucial that I do want to mention because I believe that it was vital to our clear. So we both went for the same Reforges, which is damage to enemies suffering from loss of control, damage to demons, attack speed, and then beneficial effect duration and critical hit damage. The only thing which could potentially be improved is changing critical hit damage to damage done to elites, but overall, this, in my opinion, is pretty much the best setup for PvE, and this is because of the fact that demons make a bulk majority of the mobs in this game, and also because of the fact that I'm always dealing the loss of control with my vortex, so we're always gaining the benefit of this extra loss of control damage. But I quickly want to mention something, and that is the fact that a lot of players will say that this is only possible because my friend's a whale and he carried me through the rift, and I will concede that that is definitely true to a huge extent. My friend was doing the majority of the damage in the build, there's no getting around that, and obviously his resonance did help a lot because, like I mentioned in a lot of my previous videos, is that gems at higher rank give you a lot of combat rating, and he was definitely able to close the gap in the combat rating for the challenge rift requirements, so there's no getting around that. You definitely do need to be kind of a whale or at least a higher resonance player to be able to clear this rift, in my opinion. It's just too challenging if you're not, so there is that. But I will say that this was still a huge challenge for the both of us. Even though my friend is a higher resonance player, he was still playing as Crusader, like I said, and it was still a huge challenge, and we spent quite a majority of time fishing for the right map and also playing around the mob mechanics, etc. In my opinion, Diablo games are best enjoyed in a group, and you kind of do want to be relying on your friends and having your friends rely on you, so I was still able to bring something to the table with my CCing of the mobs and also playing as more of a support role. It was really fun to actually try and not be the main damage dealer, and also the fact that my friend's clan did not have the challenge rift or bonus, so I did also help him with that, and it was just a very fun experience overall, being able to share this with one of my friends that I've been playing with for over 2 years. He's been in the same warband with me for a year. It was just a really fun experience, and I would argue that this was actually more fun than even doing it myself solo. So I just wanted to mention that because I know there will be a few comments just taking a look at my friend's resonance and saying, okay, this is just a walk in the park, and kind of dismiss the whole achievement that we had. Because I think this build that I used for the Challenge of Clear warrants its own video, and also I don't want this video to drag on for too long, I'm going to be sharing another video very shortly showing both builds that I used for the Challenge Rift Mob Clear and also for the Challenge Rift Boss, and these builds should also work really well in any kind of difficult PvE content and also for the Hellforge Gauntlets. I hope that you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it. For now, I'm going to be signing off, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Peace.